that intended. Let me thank you for your patience. Good afternoon. My name is Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I represent the 18th Congressional District. And in a moment's notice, we have gathered a number of our community citizens who represent the diversity of this great community. We are one time again explaining our situation and declaring that this post office will not be closed. Just a few weeks ago, I held up a sign that said the deadline for appeal was March 10th. But because of the community's pressure, the 7,000 petitions taken by our brother Kofi and the Black United Front to Washington, D.C., and the advocacy that we waged out of the 18th Congressional District and our supporters, this is no more. Now we have been notified today that we have another lease on life. It is not the lease on life that I desire, because it is indicated that we are going back to the drawing boards, as indicated to me by the United States Postal Service, and we need to hear from the community. In the post office, they are supposed to have notices today that have indicated, as they promised me, as I asked them, that they needed to give this community time and they needed to hear this community. But let me say that even with the conceding of the post office, we're still going to be in a very strong fight. It's going to be in a national fight. Because as I indicated just a couple of weeks ago, I am concerned, as other members of Congress are, with the process that is being utilized by the United States Post Office. They need some more guidance. And one of the issues that we're going to challenge is that this community never was given a notice, never were given an opportunity in a community meeting to be heard. I held a town hall meeting. That was an 18th Congressional District town hall meeting. But the community was supposed to get its own meeting where the input could have been given. That is one failure in the process. The second is to wake up Houston, because the post office is going around and going to different states. Texas is now on the books. It'll be rural post office, urban post offices. And sadly, most of the Houstonians don't know their post office is slated to be closed. We're going to be the symbol of victory, to let people know that if you put in a fight, that you are going to turn this around. Why? Because the issue that the post office is addressing is a question of too much real estate. And I sympathize with them. I want them to continue working at the best level they can. I want them to have the employees that can do the job. But I can't stand by and let this post office be closed because of real estate. This post office is needed in a census area that is growing. And that's the message that we have. It is growing. This is no more. This date of March 10th has now been extended to the end of the month for us to be able to pile on. And as I spoke to the post office this morning in Washington, they are waiting for Houston to pile on. That means the city of Houston must join us in piling on with data and information that the Southmore Post Office is a vital link to a growing and developing and emerging community that has a terrace, that has a new academy for young women, that has a historic corridor called the Alameda Corridor that was named this 20 years plus ago because of the advocacy of this community, that has a direct line down Wheeler and a little bit to the left, or down Cleburne to Texas Southern University, where, as everyone knows, made its mark, where young, fearless students came to change not only America, but to change Houston, and came here, as these pictures depict, and sat down at a lunch counter to be able to change the hearts and minds of those who believed it was all right to live in a discriminatory community. This post office cannot be moved. And let's be very clear. We want it to be full service, and we think that it can. With the trucks in the back, with the machinery, of which they say they have excess. But if you develop and redraw your line to include this post office, to draw those who are in the midtown and downtown area, to make the resources such, the timing such, that this post office can be more than full service, that it can reach beyond the Sears on Richmond-Wheeler and serve all of our communities, no matter where their background, color, racial identity, or any other identity. This is Houston's post office, and we demand that Houston's post office not be closed.
Yes.
Yes.
And so the message to all of us who are here this morning is that this is not a cause for the few strong and dedicated that have come out this morning, but we want this to be a raging campaign. We want Houston to wake up and be able to declare that the city and the state is too large to be able to close our post offices without community hearings and about understanding both the census and the growth of this area. So we will be, as I indicated, our legislation is being drafted about the question of the kinds of hearings that you have in communities and the kind of notice, the appeal process, which we question, that goes directly to the post office. But more importantly, this is a time to wake up Houston about the amount of information. We want the halls of the United States Post Office to make sure that every piece of mail they get between now and the end of the month is in actuality mail from Houston, Texas. Is that all right?
Yes.
About the post office as in the Southmore Post Office that we have. So let me ask now for a number of individuals to come forward. I'm going to acknowledge everyone if I can read their handwriting, so if you please forgive me. But Brother Kofi, we want to thank you for the work done and the continued work that is going to be done in this effort. And it is, as you come forward, let me say that I want to really take closure out of our mouth. Can we take that out of our mouth?
Yes.
Because it impacts people. And so this is a chain. I don't know whether it's coincidental to the schools that are being closed in the 18th Congressional District.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that. And so we're standing against closing schools, closing post offices, closing down neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Because we are alive, we have history, and we are ready to challenge anyone who suggests that there's any death going on here. And when you close something, it is death that you're giving to the community.
Yeah.
We're not going to survive, and we're not going to tolerate the closing of our vibrant communities. Bring Brother Kofi up here and thank him so very much for what he has done. Give him a very big hand.
My name is Kofi Taharka. I have the privilege, the honor, and the responsibility of being the national chairman of the National Black United Front. I want to thank Congresswoman Lee for her leadership. This post office is in her district, and everyone is looking to her for leadership, which she has provided. However, we can't leave it all on her shoulders. We have had a number of activities trying to bring light and awareness to the process that we're in the second phase of now.
Yes.
Here. Because we believe a lot of people still may not know
Right.
that this post office is scheduled for closure. And a part of doing that, what we've said is, we want to get a united front, if you will,
That's right.
behind Congresswoman Lee with other elected officials. Well, we're pleased to tell you that we have the support of the city council person of this district, the Weingartens.
Wonderful.
We have in writing the support of State Representative Garnett Coleman's
Wonderful.
office right up the street. State Senator Rodney Ellis called this past week and said that he will put his support
Excellent.
in writing. And of course, we know we had Congressman Al Green standing in
Absolutely.
support of his colleague. So that's one thing, because we said no matter whether you have direct oversight or not, whatever our good officers can do,
Yes.
we should put it on the record that we don't want this post office closed, and they have been responding. Secondly, before I close, I want to let you know, as this marker
Excellent.
behind us, next Tuesday is March the 4th. That will be, let me get my math right, that will be 54 years since those brave and bold students marched down
Yes.
from TSU over here to this post, well, what was the Weingartens, and did the sit-in. We're going to commemorate that at 4 p.m. next Tuesday here. We ask everybody to join us. It will be a good historical lesson. It will be something that really honors the spirit and the valor of what it is that they did. Lastly, let me say this. I did also speak with the post office, the vice president of facilities. He told me, Congresswoman, that he was the one that ultimately makes the decision.
Right.
That this round, March 26th is the deadline.
Right.
And then his staff compiles all of this, and then he makes the decision. And what he said, Congresswoman and neighbors, was he said that he has to be able to defend that decision based on congressional rules and regulations. So our suggestion is this. We already had a petition, but we need those letters that raise every aspect of why they shouldn't close this post office. Because it's a service to our elderly who live in this area. Because of the businesses, everything that we can think of are all of the good reasons why they shouldn't close it. Because he said he's going to have to stand before you all and defend a decision that he makes. Now we know rules can be changed because through the Congresswoman and our efforts, they've already changed a few rules.
That's correct.
So we need to go on that letter writing campaign from every organization, every group, every resident, every church, everybody that is a stakeholder challenging this closure. And lastly, let me say this. The spirit of what these young people did is a part of this fight that we're involved in.
Absolutely.
And we need to study what they did and what they were willing to put on the line, and then I know that we will be successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give thank you very much. He is absolutely